The Galactic Council hall was silent. Not a single creature dared to speak. Hundreds of alien eyes stared at the center of the room, where one small platform slowly rose from the floor. On that platform stood 3 humans, the last human diplomats who were allowed to enter this place. Every corner of the hall glowed with blue and silver lights. Giant banners of powerful alien empires hung from the walls. And above everything, the massive symbol of the Galactic Council shined like a cold star, reminding everyone who ruled the galaxy. The narrator speaks in calm but tense tone. Humans were not welcome here anymore. The human delegation stood straight, but inside they felt the pressure of thousands of alien minds judging them. Commander Rylan, tall and calm, watched the council members carefully. His face showed no fear, only focus. A deep voice echoed, shaking the air. Begin the final hearing for Species 23B. Humans. The voice belonged to High Chancellor Vurek, a creature with crystal skin and glowing red veins. He looked down at the humans like they were dangerous animals trapped in a cage. Ryland stepped forward. "We request a fair trial," he said in simple, steady English. "We request evidence for your accusations." Alien murmurs filled the hall. Some laughed, some hissed, some simply stared with cold, empty eyes. The Chancellor replied sharply, "Humans always ask for proof. Humans always demand explanations. But the Council has already decided. You are too unpredictable, too fast at learning, too quick at adapting. Your nature is dangerous." Ryland clenched his jaw. He knew this day might come, but he did not expect it to happen so suddenly. Another voice spoke, softer but filled with fear. A tall, bird-like alien named Koresh flapped his wings nervously. "In only 2 centuries, your species has grown from planetary isolation to interstellar expansion. No other young race has advanced so quickly. You break balance. You cause fear." Ryland looked around the hall. "So you fear us? That is your reason." The Chancellor slammed his staff on the ground. A sharp metallic sound spread through the chamber. "Fear is not the crime. It is the warning. Humans are a threat to the galaxy." A thick silence followed. Then the verdict was announced. By the vote of the Galactic Council, humans are hereby exiled beyond the Outer Rim, effective immediately. Ryland's heart froze. The other 2 human diplomats looked shocked, but they kept their expressions controlled. Outer Rim, a dead zone, a region with no planets, no trade routes, no support, a place no species had survived in for long. It was not exile. It was a slow death sentence. Ryland stepped forward again. "This decision is unjust. Humans have honored every treaty. We have helped build colonies, traded fairly, and supported peace." The Chancellor interrupted. "Enough. Your words hold no power here." A holographic map appeared in the air. It showed Earth and all human colonies surrounded by Council warships. The blockade was already active. Everything had been prepared before the hearing even started. The entire hall watched the humans like spectators watching a fight that had already ended. This was not justice. This was fear turned into law. Ryland slowly closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them with calm strength. "If this is your final decision," he said, "then we will accept it. But know this, humans do not break under pressure." The Chancellor laughed softly. "You misunderstand. This is not pressure. This is control." Alien guards marched in, tall, armored creatures with glowing weapons. They surrounded the human diplomats and escorted them out. The walk through the council hall felt endless. Alien soldiers stared at them with mixed emotions. Fear, anger, but also something else, respect. As the humans stepped into the transport ship waiting for them, Ryland noticed something strange. Several alien officers refused to meet his eyes. Some whispered quietly, almost afraid of being heard. They were not celebrating the exile. They were afraid of what humans might become because of it. The ship doors closed. A deep hum filled the air as the engines activated. The view outside shifted to the endless stars of the galaxy. The narrator says in a low, suspenseful tone, humans were leaving the galaxy, but they were not defeated. The Council's escort fleet guided the human ship through warp lanes. No one spoke. No one moved. The only sound was the soft hum of the ship cutting through the void. Hours later, the stars changed. The galaxy's bright lights faded behind them as they crossed into the outer rim. Dark, empty space stretched in all directions. The escort ship stopped. A robotic voice announced, "Exile complete." The alien fleet turned back at once, leaving the humans alone. For a moment, there was complete silence inside the human vessel. Then Commander Ryland stood up slowly. He looked out at the strange star system ahead, a system the Council had chosen as their prison. But Ryland did not see a prison. He saw a challenge. He saw a starting point. He saw a new beginning. He whispered to his team, voice calm but filled with quiet power, "They think Exile will break us." He paused, "But they have freed us instead." The camera zooms out into the dark, empty space, ending the part with heavy suspense. The human ship floated silently in the outer rim. Stars around them seemed colder, dimmer, as if the galaxy itself had forgotten this place. Commander Ryland stood on the bridge, staring at the dark expanse ahead. His crew moved with quiet efficiency, but tension hung in the air. Exile had a strange weight, heavier than fear, heavier than anger. "This system, nothing on the maps," said Lieutenant Mara, the ship's navigator. Her fingers traced the holographic star charts. "The Council left us in a completely unknown region. No trade routes, no colonies, nothing." Ryland nodded slowly. "Good. No one can spy on us here. No one can interfere. That's the advantage of Exile." The crew glanced at him. They understood his meaning. The Council had intended to destroy them, but in doing so, it placed them in a space untouched by anyone, a chance, however slim, to survive and grow. The ship moved deeper into the system. It was strange. Planets were rare, and most were dead rock or ice. A faint, greenish light glimmered from a distant planet with jagged rings. The sensors picked up unusual energy readings, but there were no signs of life. "Commander," said Science Officer Jalen, pointing at the screen, "I don't understand. These readings, they're not natural. Something is buried there. Some kind of energy signature, very strong." Ryland studied the data, his brow furrowed. "Strong enough to be dangerous?" Jalen hesitated. "Possibly, but it's also ancient. Maybe old technology." Ryland's eyes narrowed. "Prepare a landing party. We'll investigate. Carefully." The shuttle detached from the main ship, cutting through the cold darkness. The team of humans approached a mysterious planet, silent and alert. Every shadow seemed alive, every rock a hiding place. As the shuttle landed, the ground shook slightly. Dust rose around them, swirling in low gravity. The surface looked abandoned, yet strange symbols were etched on jagged rocks. Structures half buried in dirt and stone jutted toward the sky, impossible in design, not like anything humans or aliens had seen before. "This place, it feels alive," said Lieutenant Mara quietly, "like it's watching us." Ryland didn't respond. He scanned the horizon. Massive towers rose from the surface like jagged teeth. Some emitted faint pulses of light, as if the planet itself had a heartbeat. Jalen walked forward, touching a strange control panel embedded in one of the towers. Sparks flew. The team jumped back. "Wait," Jalen murmured. His eyes widened. "This is the machine. But not just any machine. This is advanced technology, far beyond the Council's current knowledge." The rest of the crew looked around. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, vibrating through the ground. Dust swirled. Light flickered along the towers. The humans watched, breathless. Ryland finally spoke. "Careful. We don't know if it's safe, or if it's awake." Jalen activated a small interface. The lights on the tower shifted and blinked rapidly. Holographic symbols rose into the air. Unfamiliar, glowing, alien, yet strangely readable. The symbols seemed to react to their presence. A sense of awe filled the humans. They were not alone, not really. This system had secrets, power, a past no one had touched in centuries. Suddenly, sensors picked up movement. Faint, distant shapes appeared beyond the horizon. Aliens? Scouts? Or remnants of the ancient race that had left this place? Lieutenant Mara tensed. "Commander, we are not alone. Ryland placed a hand on her shoulder. Calm. Strong. No. But we are not afraid. Not yet. This system was abandoned for a reason, and it's ours now. We will learn it. We will survive. As the humans explored further, they discovered structures that could contain weapons, ships, even knowledge stored in strange crystalline forms. Every step revealed more technology, history, and power that no one in the council knew they had found. A soft, distant rumble echoed across the planet. The lights pulsed faster. The energy signatures grew stronger. Jalen stared at the readings, almost in disbelief. Commander, this is incredible. Whatever left this place, they had knowledge of the universe we can only imagine. Ryland looked at his team. Their faces showed fear, curiosity, excitement, and determination. He smiled faintly. They thought they exiled us to death, he said quietly. Instead, they have given us a place to rise. The planet pulsed again, as if acknowledging him. And somewhere, deep below its surface, something ancient stirred. The narrator speaks in a low, suspenseful tone. Humans were no longer just survivors. They had found the first piece of their destiny, a power forgotten by the galaxy, waiting for the ones brave enough to claim it. The scene ends with the camera pulling back to reveal the full system. Jagged planets, abandoned megastructures, and a faint green glow that seemed to hum across the stars. A final line lingers. The council may have exiled them, but the galaxy had no idea what they were about to awaken. The wind on the silent planet was cold and dry, carrying the faint hum of ancient machines buried beneath the surface. The human team moved carefully among the massive ruins, every step echoing against towering structures that reached toward the pale green sky. Commander Ryland's eyes scanned the horizon. Every rock, every shadow seemed alive, as if the planet itself was watching them. Lieutenant Mara touched the edge of a jagged tower. Her fingers traced glowing symbols that reacted to her presence. Commander, these symbols are not just decorative. They're instructions or maybe a warning. Ryland studied them. Then we need to read them. Carefully. Every detail matters. Science Officer Jalen activated a portable scanner. Streams of data flowed across the screen, translating alien symbols into basic readable text. Slowly, a pattern emerged. These are coordinates and instructions, Jalen said, eyes wide. Coordinates for structures, devices, weapons. The entire system is like a blueprint for technology far beyond anything we know. Ryland stepped closer to one of the glowing towers. If this technology is real, we could change everything. Not just survive, but thrive. Build an empire if we want. The team paused. A feeling of awe and fear settled over them. They were standing on the edge of something that could shake the galaxy. Jalen carefully activated one of the panels. Sparks danced, and the tower hummed louder. Light spread across the structure, like veins, pulsing with energy. Then, slowly, a door opened at its base, revealing a dark chamber inside. Inside, Jalen whispered, this must be a control room. The team entered cautiously. Walls were lined with crystalline devices, pulsing with light. Strange consoles projected holograms that seemed alive. Each symbol, each glowing crystal, reacted to the presence of humans. Lieutenant Mara pointed at a large device in the center. What is that? Ryland stepped closer. I don't know, but it feels powerful. Jalen touched the device gently. Suddenly, a low vibration shook the floor. Light spread across the chamber, like a wave. Symbols floated into the air, forming patterns the humans could barely comprehend. Then, with a sudden flash, the device activated fully. The floor beneath them hummed. Lights blazed brighter, and the air seemed charged with energy. Ryland raised his hand. Everyone stepped back, carefully, but it was too late. The ancient machine had noticed them. Energy arcs danced across the chamber. A deep, metallic voice filled the air. Not speaking words humans understand, but feelings, power, knowledge, intelligence. Jalen stepped forward. Commander, it's communicating with us somehow. Ryland nodded. Then we must listen. Over hours, the team learned how to control parts of the technology. Machines that could repair themselves, devices that could manipulate gravity, energy shields, and even automated ships hidden within the ruins. Every new discovery amazed them more. But there was a warning, subtle yet clear. The planet itself seemed to watch, judging whether the humans were worthy. Any mistake triggered small defensive pulses, almost like a test. Lieutenant Mara looked around nervously. "Commander, do you think the Council knows about this place? Did they exile us here to die before we found it? Or did they just not know?" Ryland's jaw tightened. "I don't know, but it doesn't matter. We were given a second chance, and we will use it. Carefully, wisely, but fully." The suspense grew when sensors detected movement outside the chamber. Shadows slipped between the ruins. Small, fast, and almost invisible. Scouts? Spies? Or remnants of the original civilization? Ryland raised his hand. "Stay alert. Observe, but do not engage unless necessary." The creatures vanished as quickly as they appeared. But the message was clear. Humans were not alone. Someone or something was watching their every move. Over the next days, the team explored more of the ruins. They discovered hangars filled with ancient ships, dormant but reparable, weapon systems that could destroy fleets, defense mechanisms capable of shielding entire planets. And in every corner, hints of the lost civilization's wisdom, its understanding of the universe far beyond anything the Galactic Council had achieved. Ryland addressed his team, his voice calm but filled with fire. "They exiled us thinking we were weak, that we would die in the dark. But they don't know us. They don't know what humans are capable when faced with survival or opportunity." The narrator speaks. The humans had awakened a power long forgotten, a technology older than any empire in the galaxy. And in the silence of the exiled system, they were beginning to rise. The final scene shows the team standing on a cliff above the ruins. Lights of the machines flicker below like stars. The wind blows, carrying a faint hum, the heartbeat of the planet's technology. Ryland looks up at the stars beyond. His eyes are cold, determined, and burning with ambition. The Council thought they sent us to die. They were wrong. Exile was our gift, and the galaxy will soon learn never underestimate humanity. The screen fades to black, leaving a lingering sense of suspense. Somewhere in the shadows, something ancient stirs, watching the humans as they learn, adapt, and grow stronger. The abandoned planet had become their home. The silent ruins no longer whispered secrets. They sang of power and possibility. Humans move among the towering structures and glowing crystals like artists discovering a masterpiece, every step careful, every choice deliberate. Commander Ryland stood at the highest cliff of the ruins, looking at the fleet of newly repaired ships below. Hundreds of small vessels, sleek and strange, rested inside ancient hangars. Machines of a long-lost civilization hummed quietly, waiting for their human pilots. "Is it ready, Jalen?" Ryland asked. Science Officer Jalen looked up from a console. "Almost, Commander. Systems are fully operational. Shields, engines, weapons, everything is stable. We've upgraded them with human designs. The ships are faster, stronger, and smarter than anything in the Council fleets." Lieutenant Mara crossed her arms. "It's amazing, but what about training? We can't just take these ships out without knowing how to use them properly." Ryland smiled faintly. "We train fast. Humans adapt fast. That's why we survived exile. That's why we will rise faster than they expect." Days turned into weeks. The humans drilled relentlessly. Pilots practiced maneuvers. Engineers learned the alien technology, and scientists experimented with energy systems that could power entire planets. Every human was stretched to their limit, but none complained. Fear of the unknown had been replaced with purpose. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the ruins, Ryland gathered his top officers. They stood in the largest hall, the walls glowing softly with pulsing light. "This system was meant to break us," Ryland began. His voice echoed against the crystalline walls. "The Council thought Exile would destroy humanity. They thought they could erase us from the galaxy. But they were wrong." He paused, letting his words sink in. "We are not just surviving. We are preparing. We are learning. And soon, we will return stronger than ever. Every lesson we've learned here, every piece of this technology, will make us unstoppable." Mara looked at him with wide eyes. "Commander Unstoppable? Do you really think we can challenge the council? Ryland's gaze was steady, unshaken. We don't just challenge them. We surpass them. They exiled us, but they freed us. Freed us to build, to grow, to rise. And we will. The humans worked in shifts, blending alien technology with human ingenuity. Weapons that fire with precision across light years. Shields that adapted to attacks. Engines that could outrun anything the galaxy had seen. They discovered ways to repair their ships in hours, ways to enhance communication across massive distances, ways to fight smarter, not just harder. Outside, the planet's energy signature grew stronger. The ancient machines seemed to recognize the humans as worthy inheritors of power. Lights pulsed across the ruins in a rhythm like a heartbeat, resonating with their energy. One day, sensors detected movement at the edge of the system. Shadows flitted across the desolate moons. Scouts? Enemies? Ryland's team watched carefully, weapons ready, heart steady. But the figures vanished before they could approach. Someone is watching us, Mara said. Tense. Ryland nodded. Let them watch. Let them fear. When the time comes, they will see the full strength of humanity. Weeks later, the first human fleet was ready. Ships glimmered in the dim light of the ruined planet. Engines humming with raw energy. Pilots climbed aboard, trained to synchronize with alien systems that seemed alive. Every human felt it, a surge of power, confidence, and destiny. Ryland stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking at the fleet. Today, we are no longer exiles. Today, we are a force the galaxy will not ignore. We will rise from the darkness of exile and reclaim our place, not for revenge, but for survival, for humanity, and for the future. The fleet launched, moving in perfect formation. Lights streaked across the sky as engines roared, echoing through the ruins. For the first time in centuries, the silent system felt alive with purpose. The humans were no longer just survivors. They were architects of a new empire. The narrator's voice and tones, calm but charged with suspense. From the ashes of exile, the humans built a fleet, a power, a legacy. The council had cast them away, but in doing so, they created a force that would one day change the galaxy forever. As the fleet moved to the dark expanse, the camera pulls back to reveal the entire system. Lights of the ships glitter among the ruins, the planet humming with energy below. The outer rim is no longer a grave. It is the birthplace of the human empire. Ryland looks to the stars, determination burning in his eyes. They thought exile would end us. They were wrong. Humanity rises. Far across the galaxy, in the towering chambers of the Galactic Council, alarms blared. Holographic displays flickered with urgent messages. Every alien delegate whispered nervously to their neighbors. The Council had always believed humans were exiled and powerless. That belief was about to shatter. High Chancellor Vurek slammed his staff on the floor. Report. His crystal eyes glowed with anger and fear. A trembling scout reported, Commander, it's the humans. They've activated ancient technology in the outer rim. Ships, fleets, weapon systems, all operational. They move faster, stronger than anything we anticipated. A murmur of shock swept through the chamber. Delegates looked at each other with wide eyes. Some alien species who had once laughed at humans now paled. Fear had returned, and it was worse than before. Counselor Koresh, the bird-like alien, flapped nervously. Impossible! They were meant to die in exile. How have they done this? Vurek's jaw tightened. They were given a grave, but they have turned it into a fortress. Every report confirms it. The outer rim system is now alive with their power. Another counselor, a massive insectoid named Thrall, hissed, The humans are not just surviving. They are building fleets, weapons, strategies. They are learning at a rate no young species has ever done. If we do nothing, they will grow beyond our control. Vurek leaned forward, his voice sharp. Prepare a strike fleet. Target the system immediately. Destroy the humans before they can return. No mistakes. This cannot happen again. The counselors debated, but every voice carried fear. The decision was unanimous. Humans must be stopped. Immediately. Meanwhile, in the outer rim, The human fleet trained without pause. Pilots executed maneuvers faster than the ancient machines predicted. Weapon systems fired in perfect synchronization. Engineers repaired and upgraded ships continuously. Every day, the humans grew stronger. Every day, the Council's fear grew. Ryland stood on the bridge of the flagship, studying the stars. Sensors picked up distant flashes, tiny movements far away. "They are coming," he said calmly. "The Council has noticed us. They can't ignore the fact that we exist. But that's fine. Let them come. We are ready." Lieutenant Mara frowned. "Commander, they are sending a strike fleet? Do we have enough?" Ryland's eyes glinted. "Enough? We have what they cannot imagine. Speed, intelligence, unity, and the power of this planet behind us. Fear give them mistakes to make. We will use it." Science Officer Jalen added, "The ancient systems, they respond to us. They enhance our ships, our defenses. We can take on much larger forces. The Council underestimates us again." Back at the Council, reports of human activity arrived every hour. Systems previously thought barren now teemed with energy. The outer rim was no longer empty. It pulsed with life, strategy, and intelligence. Vurek slammed the table again. "Prepare defenses. Call every strike fleet. We cannot allow them to reach the inner rim. If humans gain more allies, if they master that ancient technology fully, the Council will fall." Koresh whispered in terror. "They underestimated them once. We must not repeat the mistake." The camera cuts back to the humans, watching the approaching fleet on their sensors. Hundreds of alien warships, massive and heavily armed, moved toward the outer rim. The Council had mobilized its best, hoping to crush the fledgling humans before they became a real threat. Ryland walked among his officers. "Remember this," he said quietly. "The Council exiled us to destroy us. They thought fear and distance would stop humanity. But fear doesn't break us. Distance doesn't stop us. And now, their own fear will be their weakness." The fleet moved into formation. Ancient machines hummed in sync with the human ships. Shields strengthened. Weapon systems calibrated. Pilots gripped controls with steady hands. Every human knew the stakes. Every human knew that the Council was about to learn what Exile had truly done. The narrator speaks in a low, suspenseful tone. The Council had cast humanity aside. They had thought they were safe. But from the silent outer rim, the exiled humans were ready to rise. And soon, the galaxy would see that fear of humanity was well-founded. The final scene of Part 5 shows a human flagship's view of the approaching alien fleet. Stars flash with light from thousands of weapons, engines, and shields. The camera pans to Ryland's calm, determined face. "They came to destroy us," he says quietly. "But we will show them Exile did not weaken us. It made us stronger." The outer rim was silent, but the calm was only a mask. Sensors blinked red as the Galactic Council strike fleet approached. Hundreds of massive alien warships cut through the void, engines glowing like distant stars. They were confident, experienced, and deadly, or so they thought. Commander Ryland stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the distant formation. His crew moved with precision. Every action synchronized, every command executed perfectly. He raised his hand. "Hold positions. Wait for my mark. Let them come closer." Lieutenant Mara frowned. "Commander, they'll reach weapons range in minutes." "Are you sure?" Ryland's eyes were steady. "Yes. Let them make the first move. Humans fight with more than just firepower. We fight with strategy, intelligence, unity. They will underestimate us. Again." Science Officer Jalen monitored the fleet's approach. "Commander, their fleet is large, heavily armed. But our systems are responding faster than predicted. Ancient tech is enhancing our weapons and shields. They won't see what hits them." Ryland nodded. "Good. Prepare the decoys. Activate the energy pulses along the system's perimeter. Let's show them a taste of what they are up against." Minutes later, the first Council ships entered the outer rim system. They were met with nothing but silence and shadows. The humans had hidden their fleet among the ruins, cloaked by ancient energy fields. Sensors picked up strange movements, like the planet itself was alive, protecting them. Commander, they're scanning, Mara said. They're trying to locate us. Ryland smiled faintly. Let them scan. Let them waste energy. When they think they have the advantage, we strike. Suddenly, the system pulsed. Energy arcs shot from the planet's surface, forming a shimmering shield that enveloped the human ships. Council sensors went haywire. Confusion spread among their ranks. Commander, they can't see us, Jalen exclaimed. We're invisible to their targeting systems. Ryland's voice was calm but sharp. Not invisible, just untouchable for now. Wait for my mark. The Council fleet advanced, growing bolder, thinking they had located the humans. Suddenly, the ground shook from the planet's ancient hangars. Human ships launched in perfect formation, weapons activated, shields synchronized, and the alien fleet was caught in a deadly trap. Energy pulses from the planet disrupted their targeting systems. Ships fired blindly, while humans maneuvered with precision, striking weak points no one thought existed. Engage, Ryland commanded. Target their command ships first. Disable, do not destroy yet. The human fleet moved like one organism. Every ship knew its role. Every pilot trusted the next. Council ships fired desperately, but their attacks were countered by energy shields, rapid maneuvers, and sudden bursts of alien-enhanced human technology. Lieutenant Mara laughed softly. They thought they could crush us. Look at them now. Ryland did not smile. His eyes were fixed on the center of the battle. The flagship sensors picked up the Council's command ship. It was massive, heavily armed, but slow, predictable. Jalen, prepare precision strike. We hit them where it hurts. Jalen's fingers danced across the console. The ancient tech amplified their weapon's power. A concentrated beam shot forward, striking the command ship's shield. Sparks and energy arcs flew. The alien flagship shuddered, systems failing one by one. Council ships around it hesitated, confused by the sudden loss of command. Panic spread through their formation. The humans pressed forward, exploiting every weakness with speed, intelligence, and perfect coordination. Commander, they're retreating. Mara shouted. Ryland nodded. Good. Let them live to tell the tale. Humanity's first victory will not just be strength. It will be proof that we are smarter, faster, and unstoppable. As the Council fleet withdrew, battered and shaken, the human ships regrouped. They hovered over the outer rim planet, lights flickering like stars in the darkness. The ancient machines hummed in approval, their energy synchronizing with the human fleet. Ryland addressed his crew. Today, we return from Exile. Today, the galaxy saw that humans are not weak, not slow, not simple. They underestimated us, and they will not do it again. Remember this feeling. Remember the power we have when we work together. The next time, the galaxy will see the full force of humanity. The narrator speaks in a low, suspenseful tone. Exiled by the Council, cast aside, forgotten by the galaxy. Yet from the shadows of the outer rim, humanity had returned. Smarter, faster, and stronger than anyone could imagine. The Exiled had become a force to be reckoned with. The final scene shows the human fleet flying above the ruins, engines glowing, ready for the next challenge. Beyond them, stars twinkle in silent witness to a new power rising. Humanity was no longer a threat to fear. They were a power the galaxy would have to respect. Ryland looks out into the dark void, determination burning in his eyes. The Council thought Exile would end us, but they were wrong. Humanity rises, and this is only the beginning. The Galactic Council had never been so quiet. Their fleets returned battered. Their delegates whispered in fear, and their confidence had vanished. The humans, once thought weak and easily controlled, had returned from exile with a power the galaxy had never seen. Commander Ryland stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking toward the stars. His fleet now hovered over the outer rim planet, glowing with energy and precision. Ancient technology merged with human innovation had made them unstoppable. But Ryland knew this was not just a battle of ships. It was a battle for respect, for recognition, and for humanity's place in the galaxy. "Commander," said Lieutenant Mara, pointing at the view screen. "Council envoys are arriving. They want to talk." Ryland's eyes narrowed. "Talk?" he said slowly. "After exile? After everything they tried to do, Jalen, scanning the incoming messages, replied, "Yes, but it's clear they are afraid. They want peace or at least a truce." Ryland's face softened slightly. "Good. Let them see what humanity has become. Let them understand that we do not seek revenge, we seek respect. Prepare a secure communication channel. Bring them to the negotiation table." Moments later, the holographic images of the council appeared before them. High Chancellor Vurek's crystal eyes burned with unease. Koresh and Thrall hovered nervously beside him. For the first time, the council's delegates were not in control. Ryland stepped forward, calm but firm. "You exiled us. You thought you could destroy humanity. You thought fear and distance would end us. You were wrong." Vurek's voice trembled, a hint of fear breaking through his usual cold tone. "Commander, we did not foresee your advancement. Your power is unexpected." Ryland raised a hand. "We do not seek your destruction. We do not seek revenge. But we will not be ignored. We will not be controlled. Humans are no longer exiles. Humans are leaders, innovators, protectors, and a force you must respect." The council murmured among themselves. Their fear was clear. They realized that every treaty, every decree, every attempt to suppress humanity had failed. Humans had taken the tools of exile and turned them into the foundation of supremacy. Lieutenant Marr added quietly, "Commander, they're asking what we want." Ryland's voice rang strong and unwavering. "We want equality, recognition, peace based on respect, not fear, and a place at the table where decisions are made, not where we're cast aside." Jalen scanned the council's faces. They are silent, shocked, confused. They did not expect this. Ryland nodded. "Good. Let them be. The galaxy has changed. They cannot unsee what they have caused. From this day, humanity will not be underestimated." The council deliberated for hours. Meanwhile, the humans maintained their position in the outer rim, the ancient machines humming approval beneath them. Their fleet stood ready, not as a threat, but as a warning. "Underestimate humanity at your peril." Finally, High Chancellor Vurek spoke, his voice quiet but sincere. "We acknowledge humanity's position. You have proven yourselves. You're no longer exiles. You are equals." Ryland's eyes softened for a moment. "Then let this be the first step. From now on, let every species know. Humanity survives. Humanity adapts. Humanity rises. And humanity leads when the galaxy demands it." The council nodded. Fear and respect mingled in their expressions. They had learned a lesson they would never forget. The humans, for their part, did not celebrate with arrogance. They honored the power they had discovered, the unity that had carried them through exile, and the lessons learned in silence and struggle. From the ruins of the Outer Rim, they had built not just a fleet, but a legacy. The narrator's voice speaks one final time, slow and commanding. Exiled by the council, cast into the void, left for dead. Yet humanity did not break. Humanity did not falter. From the shadows of exile, they rose to supremacy, proving to the galaxy that strength comes not from fear or power alone, but from unity, courage, and the unyielding will to survive and thrive. The final scene pans out across the Outer Rim system. Human ships glide above the glowing ruins. The ancient planet hums with energy, a heartbeat of power synchronized with its new inheritors. Beyond the stars, the galaxy watches, wary and respectful, as humanity secures its place among the cosmos. Commander Ryland stands on the bridge of the flagship, eyes fixed on the stars ahead. Calm, determined, and proud. They cast us out. They thought they could stop us. But from exile, humanity rose. And the galaxy will never forget it. The screen fades to black. The story of the exiled humans has reached its climax. From exile to cosmic supremacy, the galaxy will never be the same. Years had passed since the humans returned from exile. The Outer Rim system, once silent and forgotten, had transformed into a thriving hub of technology, trade, and strategy. Ancient ruins now hummed with energy, fully integrated into human systems. Humanity's fleet had grown beyond imagination, blending alien technology with human ingenuity. Commander Ryland, older but still sharp and commanding, stood on the bridge of the flagship, Below, the planet's surface glowed with energy from the ancient machines. Humans had learned to control and enhance them, not just use them. This planet had become the foundation of a new human empire. "Commander," Lieutenant Mara said, joining him, "the Council still sends envoys, but they no longer question us. They come and ask for guidance, even alliance." Ryland nodded slowly. "Good. Let them learn the difference between fear and respect. Humanity does not crush without reason, but neither do we bend to weakness or arrogance." Science Officer Jalen added, "We've mapped all ancient systems nearby. There are more like this one. Abandoned civilizations, powerful technology, waiting to be discovered. Humanity could expand faster than any species imagined." Ryland smiled faintly. "Then we will continue to explore, learn, and grow. But remember, our strength comes not just from technology, but from unity, from our will to survive. That is what made us rise from exile." A holographic message arrived. This time, it was not from the Council, but from distant allied species. Requests for knowledge, partnership, and trade flowed in. The galaxy had changed. Humans were no longer outsiders. They were leaders, innovators, and protectors. Yet Ryland never forgot Exile. The memory of the Council's fear, the silence of the Outer Rim, and the discovery of the ancient machines remained a lesson. It was a reminder that power alone was not enough. Determination, courage, and intelligence defined humanity's legacy. The narrator speaks with a calm, inspiring tone. Exiled to die, cast aside, forgotten by the galaxy, yet humanity endured. They discovered power, learned its lessons, and grew not just stronger, but wiser. From the ruins of a dead system, they forged a legacy that would echo across the stars for generations. Beyond the flagship, fleets of human ships glided through space, explorers and guardians alike. Colonies flourished on distant planets. Trade networks connected systems once abandoned. And the Outer Rim planet, once a prison, stood as a monument to resilience, ingenuity, and hope. Ryland looked at the stars, knowing that humanity's story was only beginning. Other species might challenge them. Other powers might rise. But one thing was certain. Humanity would never be underestimated again. He turned to his crew. "Remember this. We were exiled and we survived. We were tested and we prevailed. And the galaxy will never forget the legacy of the exiles." The camera pans away from the bustling fleets and glowing planet. Stars stretch endlessly, but humanity's light shines brighter than ever. A final pulse from the ancient machines echoes through space, a heartbeat symbolizing unity, courage, and cosmic supremacy. The narrator concludes, "From exile to empire, from shadows to supremacy, humanity had risen. The galaxy would remember forever. Those who cast them out had forged a power beyond reckoning. Humanity did not just survive. Humanity became legend.